Pesachim Daf Chav Gimel continues the discussion that we've been having for the last day and a half regarding the machlekes from Chizkiah and Rav Avua. How do we know that there's an isser of hana, that you're not allowed to get benefit from chametz? Chizkiah learned it out from the localized wording of lo yiachel, whereas Rav Avua learned it out either from nevila or from treifa. We yesterday had many questions on both opinions in Chizkiah and Rav Avua, and today we have the same. We have 5 more questions on the opinions of Chizkiah and Rav Avua, cases that seemingly the Torah wrote to lo yiachel, lo yichlu, etc. And it does not mean there's an isser hana. And then the Gemara is going to continue, and the Gemara is going to try to say that the opinion of Rav Avua is a machlekes tanaim. The Gemara is going to defend that opinion, and finally, at the end of today, we're going to get back and say we've had so many questions, we've gave so many answers. So at the end of the day, what is the practical difference between Chizkiah and Rav Avua? That is going to be Amud Beis. So we start in Amud Aleph, and we say another question that we see by Truma. That by Truma, the Torah says Chozar lo yoichal kodesh, seemingly, which according to Rav Avua should mean you're not allowed to get benefit. Yet we see that the halacha is that you're allowed to use Truma and use it as an eruv. Rashi explains because you could be shayil, you could undo the truma. But why is that true? You should not be allowed to get benefit. Answers the Gemara, the basic theme in all the questions of today, because it says by truma trumaschem shelachem, it shows it should be yours. So even though the word lo yoichel shows that it should yes have a forbiddance for benefit, but the fact that Torah says shelachem, that shows us that you could yes get benefit. Now we have another question. Now what does it say by Nazir? It says mechartan v'azag lo yoichel. Again, seemingly showing according to Rav Avua that you're not allowed to get benefit. And yet we find that you're allowed to use the yayin, the wine, to make an eruv for the nazir. Answers Mar Zutra that the reason is because again the Torah says nizroi shaloi, that it should be for you, that you're allowed to yes get benefit. Rav Ashi tried a different teretz, but the Mar says it doesn't wording with the pasuk, so we left with the teretz of Mar Zutra. The third question is from Chadash, the new grain. It says lechem v'koli v'karmel lo yisaychlu. So seemingly you should not be allowed to get benefit, and yet we see that you're allowed to feed it and give it to your animals. The Gemara answers the reason is because there it says kitzirchem shalachem, that it should be for you, should be allowed to get benefit. We continue with the fourth question by Shratzim. The Torah says Shakitzu lo ye'echel, seemingly a question on Chizkiah as well. And yet we see that if you try to chop an animal and nizdamnu by accident, it just happens on its own. You get a sheret, you get a non-kosher animal. You're allowed to sell it to a guy. You're allowed to get benefit. Answers the Gemara. The reason is because there it says lochem, that it should be for you. The Gemara is bothered, so maybe you should be even allowed to do it lechatchila. Why only if it's nizdamnu, if it happened? And then the Gemara says, because it says Yehu. The final question is from Chametz, that we see that the Torah says L'yuchal Chametz. According to Yisrael Glili, he holds there's no Isra'ana. How can we know Isra'ana on Chametz if it says Lo Yachel? On that, the Gemara answers the reason is because we have a different pasuk by Chametz that says Lo Yir L'cha Sa'ar, that Shalcha, that it should be for you. Now the Gemara, after going through all these different questions, the Gemara continues. The Gemara says, let's say that the din of Rav Avua is a machlekes tanaim, that we find by the Chilav of the Nevila. The Torah says Yasel L'chol Malacha, the Yati yes get benefit from it. So we have machlekes Rav Yossi Aglili and Rav Akiva. What is this pasuk coming to teach us? As we move along to Chav Gimel and Beis, the Gemara explains that seemingly Rav Yossi Aglili holds like Rav Avua, that he says that the pasuk seemingly automatically lo yisaychlu teaches me there's a forbiddance to get benefit from the Chilav of the Nevila, and therefore we need the new pasuk that you're allowed to work with it to teach me that you're allowed to yes get benefit from a person ahead. He is allowed to get benefit. Rav Akiva does not hold like Rav Avua, and he holds that the words lo yisaychlu do not mean that there's a forbiddance to get benefit, and rather the allowance of the pasuk is going to come to teach me that you're allowed to use it for kachim. The Gemara answers that no, really everyone agrees with the opinion of Rav Avua, and here it's a different machlekes. Here the machlekes is when the Torah made an allowance by Nevila, whether that included Chilav as well. Now we have the last part of today's daf that discusses, we have all these questions, all these psukim, what is the practical difference between Rav Avua and Chizkiah? The Gemara says the difference is Chulin Shenishchu Ba'azara. According to Chizkiah, Chulin Shenishchu Ba'azara is going to be a din daraisa, whereas according to Rav Avua, it's only going to be a din dera banan.